I've already talked in the past about how great GMLive is and how really anyone making a GameMaker game who values their time and sanity should use it. So if you don't know what it is, go check out that video. Today we're going to learn how to use its somewhat more experimental but extremely powerful room reloading capability. I use this constantly for PokePoke, and as compile times have gotten longer and longer, it's become a vital part of my workflow. It just has a little bit more setup involved than just event reloading, so let's show you how to use it. First of all, obviously, get GMLive and make sure you have the right version for your GameMaker version. This might be confusing due to naming changes, but at the time of recording, for latest versions, you want the 2.3 Plus edition of GMLive. And if you already had GMLive, but you got it a while ago, get it again, as there have been updates for the most recent GameMaker version. That's 2022.8. If you haven't already, import it and click Add All. You want everything. Then make sure OBJ GMLive is added to the first room of your project. Now what you need to do is create a totally blank room and object that GMLive will leverage to create new versions of your room and instances on the fly as you update your project. Create a blank object, I called mine OBlank, and leave it with default settings. And create a blank room, I called mine RBlank. You can actually call these whatever you want, that's just my naming conventions. With the room, you also want to go in and remove the default layers that get added and add live_room_start to its creation code. Pass the names of the blank object and room to GMLive via OBJ GMLive's create event. Now you're ready to go. With any room you want to make live, you simply have to call room set live with the name of the room and true. For quick testing purposes, you can just do this in a room's creation code, but you can toggle this on and off on the fly. In PokePoke, I have a debug command Shift-L that will toggle a room live. Then go to your included files and start up the GMLive server. With the newest version, you might have two versions of the server. The alt server is a .NET server that will be faster if, like me, you have particularly massive rooms. It doesn't seem any less stable in my experience though, so I just use this one all the time and it is extremely fast. If in doubt though, just use the regular one. Either way, once GMLive is running, you can run your game and you should see the server connect. Then you can go ahead and make changes in a live room, and as you save the changes, the server will detect it and reload the room for you. Absolute magic. Worth noting that GameMaker saves by default on certain actions, like deleting instances, for example. If you delete an instance, it will save the change right away, and so GMLive will detect and reload that right away. Now, depending on your game, you might want to do other things when reloading your room to keep your game state the same. For example, in PokePoke, I need to put the player back wherever they were before the update happened, so I can continue testing the level. You can do this very easily by creating your own function to be called when the room is to be reloaded. Create a function that takes a room as an argument and performs room go to live with that argument, and then does whatever else you want on top of it, like I have here. You can then bind that function to live room reloaded to replace the default room reloading behavior with your custom function. Beyond this, there are a couple of important limitations you might run into. Firstly, if you name instances in the room editor, then rely on those names for certain behavior, that behavior will not work properly in a reloaded room, as these names are converted into hard-coded IDs by GameMaker at runtime. Storing IDs as globals or in some other fashion can help work around this. Secondly, if you use the function layer_tilemap_getID, this will not work in reloaded rooms because it doesn't work with tile maps that are created dynamically at runtime. But you can easily work around this by making your own version of the function that does work with dynamic layers and using that in its place. And that function looks like this, which is also just nice for working with tile maps created at runtime. But other than that, while I'm sure there might be limits and issues I'm not aware of, well, I'm not aware of them. So for me, this thing has been wonderfully stable and easy to use. Just wanted to put this out there in case anyone thought this feature looked awesome like I did, but were scared it was going to be complicated or break their game or something silly like I did. Seriously, give it a try, you'll probably be glad you did. Like I said, this tool has been a godsend for PokePoke. If you're interested in how that project is going, I've done some devlogs on it recently, so feel free to check those out. Otherwise, thanks everyone for watching, thanks to my patrons for funding my videos, thanks to YellowAfterLife for making such an awesome tool, and thank you for watching till the end. Catch you all next time.